Almost 15,000 years ago, the population of Europe shifted and changed in ways that researchers have never identified before. Analysis of DNA taken from ancient teeth and bones uncovered evidence of a major turnover in the genetic makeup of people in the region at the same time as a major climatic change. It is so unprecedented, researchers have called it an unknown chapter of human history in which hunter-gatherer groups were replaced with a mystery population. That suggests non-African people headed east towards Asia and Australasia before the vast ice sheets receded across Europe, as individuals migrated eastwards in a single event some 50,000 years ago. The study was carried out by researchers at the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History in Germany. Using genetic fragments extracted from ancient remains spanning almost 30,000 years, scientists reconstructed the DNA of people who lived in Europe between 35,000 years and 7,000 years ago. Focusing on mitochondrial DNA, they were able to trace their maternal lines, and found that specific genetic markers present in the population suddenly disappeared at the end of the Ice Age. This type of DNA is the genetic material from mitochondria, which are power units of cells that generate their energy. In particular, fragments of DNA were used to rebuild the mitochondrial DNA of individuals from Italy, Germany, Belgium, France, the Czech Republic, and Romania during the period. 3 of the earliest individuals, who lived in France and Belgium during the last Ice Age, were found to have a unique set of identifiable genetic markers, or haplotype. But by the time the ice sheets had melted, these markers had disappeared from the European population. Analysis of DNA from the Europeans who lived after the Ice Age show they lacked the haplotype seen in the older Europeans. Today, this unique set of markers, called the M haplotype, is commonly found in modern Asian, Australasian, and Native American people, leading to theories that non-African people in Europe spread out in multiple waves to Asia and Australasia. The new findings suggest that all non-African people moved out in a single event, some 50,000 years ago. Further evidence showed that the M haplotype was gone completely from Europe by 14,500 years ago. But the DNA analysis unveiled another secret. One of the biggest changes to the European population, the researchers said, was the takeover of the population at the same time. This coincided with the warming climate. We uncovered a completely unknown chapter of human history, a major population turnover in Europe at the end of the last Ice Age, explained lead author Professor Johannes Kraus. There has been a real lack of genetic data from this time period, so consequently we knew very little about the population structure or dynamics of the first modern humans in Europe, said Kraus. Our model suggests that during this period of climatic upheaval, the descendants of the hunter-gatherers who survived through the last glacial maximum were largely replaced by a population from another source, explained Adam Powell, another senior author. Lead author of the study, Professor Cosimo Post of the University of Tübingen, suggests that European hunter-gatherer populations would have headed south to find refuge from the harsh environmental conditions. The team wrote, "Our demographic modeling reveals a dynamic history of hunter-gatherers, including a previously unknown major population shift during the late glacial period." The researchers believe that the small, initial population of Europe grew slowly until 25,000 years ago, and survived the late glacial maximum, LGM. But they then have fled south when the ice sheet started to retract. This created a genetic bottleneck of hunter-gatherers and the loss of hunter-gatherer mitochondrial DNA after the LGM. The subsequent late glacial period was characterized by drastic climatic fluctuations, beginning with an abrupt warming during what's known as the Balling-Allerod interstadial, followed by drastic period of cooling during the Younger Dryas. Globally, the early warming phases of the late glacial are strongly associated with substantial demographic changes, including extinctions of several megafaunal species and the first expansion of modern humans into the Americas. The researchers add, in European hunter-gatherers, our model explains this period of upheaval as a replacement of the population by another source. Although the exact origin for this later population is unknown, the inferred demographic history suggests that it descended from another, separate isolated population. This is also known as a refugium, or a location where an isolated population from a once more widespread group seeks refuge in a new location. The group said the next step will be to build up the picture with more DNA analyses, giving a complete view of the genomes of ancient Europeans.